Hello, you metal pilgrims, and welcome to the new episode of our interview series with our today's guest, the frontman and co-founder of the Viking Metal pioneers from Norway, Einherjer, Frode Glesnes. Frode and I will be speaking about the band's new studio album North Star, the atmosphere in the band, nostalgia, remember his craziest touring experience during his almost 30-year-long career, and much, much more. Yet before we start, and especially if you're new to the community, I'd like to invite you to like, comment, share this video, and of course subscribe to the Metal Pilgrim channel on YouTube and any other social media for more exclusive rock and metal content. Here you go. Nice shirt, man. It's my favorite Metallica album.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Cool, man. How are things in Norway? How are you guys coping with the pandemic, especially now that the work on the new album is over?
Yeah, I mean it is what it is, but actually it's not that bad, especially not here on the West Coast, okay. Because this is probably the best place to be right now in Norway. So yeah, we're doing all right.
No, that's good. Good to hear, man. All right, but enough about the sadness, man. Your new studio album, the 8th one, if I'm correct on this one, North Star, is actually out on February 26th via Napalm Records. Congrats on finishing it up, despite any pandemics or anything that is going on around the world. So could you actually take us back for just a little bit and talk about the creative process behind it? When did it begin? And, how did all of this come into this one piece that we can hear today?
Yeah, sure. I mean, when we started this, I mean, the music is written prior to the pandemic, so we got all the music written down, and we started the recording in February, and we got all the drums down, and I think we actually laid some guitar tracks down as well, but and then everything got closed down, mid-March. So
unfortunately,
that kind of led to weeks and weeks when with home tutoring and home kindergarten and all that stuff, for weeks and weeks.
I know.
So
I have 2 kids, so I know.
I can't imagine, a more like a vibe killer. So it was kind of hard, to after staying home with the kids, all day, and then go out in the studio and trying to be creative for the rest of the day, So, this album is recorded at my studio, and that is a house next to my house. So it is just, walking out one door and in the next, and you are, in the studio. So it is quite an easy task, to get stuff going here, to just sit down and be creative. But those weeks were kind of, pretty hard to do that. So we didn't get anything done for a few months. So that led to that the album was postponed from October. It was supposed to be out October last year, and it was pushed to now February 26th. When we started the recording process again, we could, due to the restrictions and stuff, we had to work like separately. So I was basically doing stuff here in my studio alone. We were done with the drums, so that was a good thing. And I laid down most of the guitar tracks and stuff, rhythm guitars myself. And Ole, the lead guitarist, he did most of his solos at his home, and I just reamped them here in the studio. So this was probably the loneliest record I've ever done, but still I think we managed to get a good vibe going, because we really like the material we've done. So it was kind of very easy to get excited about the songs we did. And when everything came together and mix and stuff, and I sent that out to the others and stuff, it was it was a really cool vibe going in. We kind of knew that, all right, this is something really, really good. So yeah, in the end, it turned out good, but I would prefer if, the whole process was a tiny bit different. That's for sure. Yeah.
And I think that's an unfortunate reality we all have to adapt to at the moment, and hopefully
Yeah.
that will go away very, very soon. But
Hopefully.
but yeah, I hear you, man. I'm exactly like that in terms of staying at home and not going out. It's very, very hard process, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you guys usually divide responsibilities when it comes to writing material? Is it mostly you who are writing music and just giving it out to everyone, or how much actually do the others contribute as well?
Gerhard contributes a lot. I mean, me and Gerhard, we started a band, and we've always kind of shared, the writing duties between us. At some albums, he's done more. Some albums, I've done more. But we are more or less, now it's like, I don't know, approximately 50% each, I would guess, So, but other than that, we're not very democratic. Sorry to say, but that's just how it is. I mean, we've always had, a kind of understanding between us how this band is supposed to be, and of course when we also have new guys in the band now, and when we have done this for like 20 something, 5, I don't know, 7, whatever years, and we have new guys that have been with us, for just a few years. It's I don't know. Everyone is welcome, to contribute and stuff. But I would imagine that me and Garo are probably not, the easiest guys to kind of convince. For the title. But I mean, that's okay, because this is me and Garo. We go way back, and I mean way back, way before. We started Einherjer in '93, but. I actually moved into the house next to him in '81.
Oh, okay.
So we've been friends for like 40 years now, and we kind of developed our musical taste together. It started with Kiss and Status Quo, and boogie rock, and the. Kiss had this fantastic PR campaign here in Norway during the late 70s and the early 80s. They have like collectable Kiss cards that is sold together with candy. So
match.
Yeah. So you kind of got. You get all the kids in the country, wild for Kiss, but they didn't even have to hear it, It was just, the pictures on those cards. That was enough to kind of tip you off. So, yeah. Anyway, so that kind of started the whole thing, and we also followed each other very closely, and when it comes to developing our musical taste, so we went from there to like your Dio, Maiden, and Wasp, Motley Crue, except all that stuff in the mid '80s, and then I discovered Metallica and Slayer, and all the thrash things, and even the more extreme stuff we also kind of discovered together. So we have this kind of very unique musical understanding between us, and that is kind of the hard, or it's impossible to replace, really. So when we have a riff, I kind of know in advance how Gala will feel about it, if this is a perfect Einherjer riff or not, because we have done this together for so long. So yeah, I know we probably sounds like an old married couple, but it's a very unique. It's a very unique thing,
But it's great to hear that you work together like this machine, right? Like a living organism that interacts, and then something unique comes out of it. It's great to hear that, man. Sure. And you mentioned that the music has been written before the pandemic started. What about the lyrics? I mean, any lyrical lines running through this album that were particularly affected by the quarantines and everything?
Yeah, I'm sure there is, or I know there is. excuse me. Because the way I work when it comes to doing vocals and writing lyrics is that is the absolutely last thing I do.
Mm-hmm.
I actually start mixing stuff before I record vocals normally.
Mm-hmm.
And I also write the lyrics while I'm doing the vocals. So that is absolutely last thing I do.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a weird way to do it, but it kind of works for us, for me. So that's okay. But so all the lyrics were written post-pandemic, and maybe especially "Listen to the Graves" is a song that is I've let the lyrics be affected by the pandemic, and that's just looking at the world, from a very, very dark place. So, yeah.
It is a quite.
From the top of my head, that at least the one thing that I can say that has had an effect from the pandemic.
Okay, makes sense. I was actually able to listen to the album a bit earlier than most of other mortal human beings on this earth, and I gotta say that despite it being very diverse, it is actually extremely cohesive. Right? I mean, it kind of keeps you engaged and focused from the opening notes into the very last record. I personally loved it a lot. I think you guys did an amazing job on this one. Like, actually, congrats. Yeah, absolutely. And were there any, particular inspirations for its sound that weren't there before? Like any bands or anything like this?
No, not really bands. But the thing is that this album was recorded here in my studio, and I also did the mix. Mm-hmm. And our previous record, we did the exact same thing, and that was the first record that I did both the recording and the mix. Mm-hmm. and that made me. I kind of learned a lot from that experience, because when I started recording this album, I already knew what the last one was kind of missing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the equipment is the same. The preamps are the same. The mics are the same. The drums are the same. And the guitars and the amps and everything are the same. So I could kind of go into this recording knowing what I need to change before I started. So I think that was actually a very smart thing to do, not to change anything, because then I could, like I said, I could add those things that I knew that I would be missing when I was starting to mix this. I could add it in while recording. So I think it sounds more powerful than the last one.
100%.
But it is basically the same, but just minor tweaks that kind of made a difference. It's also mastered by the same guy, the same place. So. I think we just kind of found a recipe that really worked really good this time. It's not that we changed the recipe from album to album. We don't really do, but this time all the pieces kind of fell together.
Okay, makes total sense. And I, judging by the reaction from the fans from the singles you've already released, it was received extremely well. I mean, from what I saw on the internet. Especially, right? And do you personally have a favorite track, or it's like a favorite kid question, an impossible one to choose?
It is impossible to choose, and it also kind of it varies because we have lived with these songs for a while now, and it's kind of easier when you get a new album from someone and you haven't heard anything about any of the songs. Then it's kind of easy to, okay, that's my favorite, and I don't like that one, and kind of sort that stuff out. I think that's more or less impossible with your own songs, and it is kind of what you are looking for and at any given time, So at some days it could be Chasing the Serpent, and some days it could be West Coast Groove. I mean, it's I think the album shows very good diversity with the variety of songs and stuff, and they are very different. So it is kind of hard, of course, to, I mean, everyone's saying that, that you can't blah, 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 compare the songs and all that shit. But to some extent, it is true, because this is more than just, listen to the songs and say if it's good or not. This is this is the last, year and a half with all kinds of shit kind of attached to it. So yeah,
Makes
it's
sense.
hard. to say.
Totally makes sense, man. And you've also invited a new guitar player, Tom Enge, right? How was it working with him? Did you guys have a chance to get used to each other already?
No, I mean he kind of came in really late to the party when it comes to this album, So he's not on it. I mean,
Okay.
there are some backing vocals there with him, but that was most of the guitars and stuff were done or not. But by the time we were kind of ready to jam and stuff with him, we were also done, with most of the guitars. So, but the thing is that for us, Tom is a new guy in the band, but he is not. He's not a new acquaintance for us.
Okay.
We've known him for years and years, and probably all my adult life. So yeah, I mean, I worked with him in the studio before, with different or other bands and stuff, and he is also a drummer, an amazing drummer, and a guitar player, of course, and he's also a great singer. So he has a lot of qualities that we hopefully can use, the next time. But this time he like I said, he came a bit late to the party.
But hopefully you'll be able to hit the road, you and all the other bands actually, before releasing the new album, and you'll get used to each other, on stage while traveling in the world. And actually, while you cannot do it, any plans on doing, online show event or something like this?
No.
You aren't a fan. I can sense from the tone.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand that some bands need to do it, and yes, that's all good. But it's not for us. It's not for us. I mean, no. It is. I don't know how to put it, but it's when you don't play in front of people, but you're still kind of doing a live show. It has this added kind of awkwardness that is not a good thing. And I personally don't care if this is happening right now, if this is live, or if this is some YouTube concert from whenever. I don't care if it's happening right now. So live stream that only it only has this added awkwardness that I kind of don't really like, and you can see it on the bands and everything. There's something not completely right.
I think that's very unfortunate, that this is the reality we all have to adapt to at the moment. But I say that all the time, that I personally believe that rock and roll and heavy metal, lives in clubs, in sweaty clubs, and, in real concerts and festivals. This is the only way it lives, right? And everything online, I guess, would be okay for some bands at least, right? For right now, for the time being. Yeah. But I wouldn't want this to be a new reality we all have to adapt to, right? Absolutely.
I'd be surprised. I mean, if the world, comes back to something that we can, call normal, I'd be surprised if people actually are continuing doing those live shows. But you never know. You never know.
That is true, man. And actually, I have 10 tickets to different shows that were postponed, and I'm not intended to sell them. I still believe that those will happen, and and I'll see Priest live very soon again, for example, man. I don't know if you can see from here. So this is deviating from the theme of the album just a bit. I don't know if you can see it from here, but I'm a bit of a vinyl nerd, right? So I love listening music on and holding it actually. And this album is being released in a variety of forms, right? I mean. Several records will be out. The question for you though is, what do you think? I mean, why do people, some people still hold on and go crazy about, having this physical piece of music, when everything is available online with just a couple of clicks?
I can just talk to myself, but nostalgia is, a very important factor. I mean, that is the most important factor when it comes to music, in the first place. And that also goes for vinyls and stuff. And that's probably also the reason that I still, buy albums, vinyls and stuff. But I do see that I tend to buy albums that I already have.
100%.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
different versions, and you know, and I find something that looks, you know, amazing, really, really cool, because every album is coming in some sort of anniversary, you know, or box set or whatever, and that looks just killer. And yeah, it's and when you open up that stuff, you get a lot of photos and a lot of stuff from that time, from that era, you know, and yeah, I'm turning, you know, 12 again when I look at the stuff, you know, being released in the mid 80s and stuff, and you know, I think it's just amazing. And if kids today can have that same kind of feeling, you know, not the nostalgia feeling, but you know, that sheer excitement, you know, when you have a new album, you know, open it up, put it on, read the lyrics or whatever, you know, just look at the whole thing, the package, and kind of, you know, get excited and you know, enjoy the stuff you're listening to. I mean, nothing's better. So yeah,
100%, 100% agree with you, man. And speaking about the bands that you love and you purchase vinyls from, right? I mean, is there one band you think you would absolutely love to play on stage with that you haven't yet?
Many bands, but most of my favorites, they are starting to get so old now.
Same here,
They're
man.
either dead or, you know, so yeah, I don't know. It's there are a lot of the classics that I would love to see live, but I see that one by one they are kind of, you know, disappearing for different reasons, and some just, you know, go into retirement, some die, and some, you know, just don't play live anymore and all that stuff, you know. But if there's one band that I really like to see, but I never got to see, that's one of my favorite bands, that Rush, and that really annoys me. I had a chance many times, but I didn't, and now it's too late. So that kind of keeps kicking me.
That sucks, man. Yeah, but that just brings us to the point of going out and seeing the shows, right? I mean, while you can support the artists, go out, enjoy your time at a real live concert, and let's not forget small important thing that actually today most of musicians don't really make money of the albums themselves. They make money out of touring. So by going to the concerts, you're not only having a lot of fun, you're actually supporting your favorite artists. So please do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also goes out, you know, to the fans of whatever band, not just ours, but I mean any band. You know, if you want, this is a very hard time. You know, we're touring and everything at the standstill and everything. So if you want, or if you really like a band, you know, go to their website and buy merch directly
100%.
from the band. That is probably the best way to support the band these days, because you don't really get to play live and stuff. And so yeah, it is hard, and many bands really needs it. And for some bands, that might even be, you know, the only way that they can still be around when the smoke clears. So it's yeah, go out there, support bands you like.
100% agree with you, man. And the next one is actually something I'm really interested to hear from you, man. What is your personal guilty pleasure in terms of music? What do you listen to when you're drunk, and if it's not metal? Selena
80s.
Gomez.
80s pop music. I love it. Oh, I really do. yeah. I have no problem in admitting that. You know, that is also actually for the last or in 2019, when we were actually doing gigs. We actually started, you know, for the last, you know, half an hour or so before entering, you know, before going on stage, we were actually firing ourselves up, you know, with some good old 80s pop music to get the vibe going. The stuff that used to be, you know, Battery and Motorhead and Metallica and all that stuff, you know. These days it is like, well, I don't know, it's very different, but it's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
All right, man, that's fun. I really don't want to keep you too long here, so the last question, if you don't mind. Can you tell us just one crazy ass touring story from your 25 plus, you know, touring career? You're on.
Yeah, it's been many. probably, I don't know, I think the craziest tour we've ever done, that was in 1998. We went on a 5-week tour with Cradle of Filth and Old Man's Child throughout Europe. That was the first kind of really big tour we had. And 5 weeks, that's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And every night it was a party like there was no tomorrow, you know, for every night. So it kind of, I think it came to the point that we had to. There was a gig cancelled in Portugal, I think. So we were somewhere somewhere in Spain, and so we kind of we were saving ourselves 2 days of driving, 1 day down and playing in Portugal somewhere, and then up again. So instead, we were partying so hard that it was also a kind of a weird vibe going on between the buses. So the tour managers, they found out that these guys need some time apart.
Like in high school.
Yeah, really. So the Cradle, we stopped at some, I don't remember there was like a, tourist kind of, small town in Spain somewhere, with a beach and stuff. And this was a really small town. So the Cradle bus, they kind of went to one side of the town, and the Einherjer and the Old Man's Child bus went to the other side. And we were supposed to stay apart from each other for a couple of days. Until we found out there was only one rock bar in town. So we met there, of course. And, everything that has been, maybe, starting to boil up as something that could have been something really bad. The whole thing that was, supposed to be avoided, that kind of exploded that night on that bar. But I think that was a good thing, because we had a good rough and tumble, all the bands together, and everything was a mess, like a good old bar fight thing. And the day after, everyone was friends, all good. So yeah, that kind of, fixed everything.
This is amazing. This is actually a really fun story, and just hearing about those tour stories, it just makes me want to go to the concert once again very soon. So I personally hope that I'll be able to catch you live, preferably in Kyiv, because I'm from Ukraine, if not somewhere in Europe or anywhere else, and at a real concert, man. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Frode, for your time. Any last message for the fans? Anything you want to share with them?
Just really looking forward, man, to the smoke clears, so we can get out there, meet people again, play for people. I can't wait.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Frode, for your time. Again, just a reminder, North Star is out on February 26th via Napalm Records. Make sure you check it out. It's a great record. Believe me, you will enjoy it. Thanks a lot, Frode. Keep rocking, man.
Right. Thanks.
See ya.